Welcome in, everybody, to race number 8 of the MMS Little Dog's Big Dog Super Speedway Series, where we have traveled to Atlanta Motor Speedway to race the Truck Series once again here tonight. Now, before we go any further, I'm going to preface tonight's broadcast by saying I've been having massive PC issues, especially the past few days. The broadcast might not look as good as usual. I've had to change some settings, turn some things down, and it's still not really solving the problem, and tried some other things, it's still not really doing it either. So hopefully we can get through all 120 laps tonight, but before we have to deal with any of those issues, hopefully we won't, but just in case, let's pull up tonight's grid. Matt Lee takes the pole for NBG here tonight. Kyler Window is outside in second. Daniel Falkingham, the Cook Series driver for 6 Karma eSports, in third. Jared Haynes for the Jack Shack, fourth. Nash Brambilla for Team PGR in fifth. Trevin Osbornoth will be starting in 6th, Steve Sizemore 7th, Brian Hennings in 8th, Mark Vondella in 9th, Cameron Hackett will round out tonight's top 10 starters. In 11th place will be Hunter Hastings, Ron Morrison 12th, David Flanagan 13th. I am not 14th. That's a result of the PC issue again. Ignore that. Dylan Jones will be starting 15th, Brandon Gagnon 16th, Joshua McCullough 17th, Chris McCullough 18th, Rick Schneider 19th, and Kenny McCullough will be starting in 20th. Jeremy Osborne will be starting 21st, and James Waring rounds out tonight's field, in the 22nd starting position. Go ahead and pull up tonight's race info. As I stated, it was 120 laps here tonight for the Truck Series vehicles, 50% of fuel tanks, unlimited tires, 1 fast repair, fixed setups as always, and 3 attempts at an overtime if we need it. So pretty much standard to what we had a couple weeks ago when we raced the Xfinity cars here. Kyler Wynn was the eventual winner of that race in a great battle with Logan York coming to the line. And here he is, and noticeable subtraction from tonight's field is Logan York. He is not out here tonight. Kyler Wynn is, as well as Falkingham, another driver involved in that finish to the last time we were at Atlanta. So those will be a couple of the favorites to watch tonight, as well as Matt Lee. Seems like he's got his qualifying down. He knows how to race this place. You've already got something going on right there on the pace lap, but seems like they've sorted that out. So the pace car is coming into turn 3. It'll be rolling into the pits on the exit of turn number 4 for Matt Lee and Kyler Wynn, with Falkingham in third and Jared Haynes lined up with his teammate right there, the 89 of Trevin Osbornoth. They might be trying to make some moves early, and then you got another set of teammates, Nash Brambilla and Brian Hennings, around each other right there for Team PGR. A couple of teammates up here. We'll be watching them, seeing what they're able to cook up throughout this race. The pace car is off. The field's rolling into the restart box now, and we are racing here tonight at Atlanta. Well, before we got even to turn number 1, something happened in the back of the field, and it looked like it involved Kenny McCullough, I believe. Actually, I'm checking that out. It was actually Chris McCullough, solid contender, someone that was also a leader of many laps the last time we were at Atlanta, involved in a very early instant. The yellow flag did not fly. Race control decided to hold that flag. Probably a good idea. It didn't look like it was really warranted a yellow flag. But we're still just 2x2 up front for lap 3. Not much crazy racing anywhere around here. Only 4 cars on that top lane. Is still basically what it was to begin with. Wynn Sizemore now behind Kyler Wynn instead of Flanagan and Osbornoth. They decided to drop down into the pack. Or, excuse me, Jared Haynes. I'm screwing these names up tonight. Jared Haynes and Osbornoth decided to get down to the bottom. 4th and 5th down there to try and save some tire. That is the tire saving line. Still just 4 of them up top. You see that's a new driver in the number 9 machine. That's going to be Cameron Hackett. Trying to pull up as the 5th car There he is, that Home Depot bright orange machine. Trying to catch up there, but it's not really going to mean much, kind of trapping himself on that outside lane. If he goes third, he doesn't have any help behind him, so probably just going to try and find a spot to wait and sit for a little while. Kyler Wynn, it looks like he's going to lead this lap with a push from Steve Sizemore. Matt Lee with a push down on the bottom side of the racetrack with Falkingham. And it's still just a 2x2 show up front. I do notice there are now 3 Jack Shack drivers lined up together. Jared Haynes being the first of those drivers, Trevor Ozernoff behind him, and then David Flanagan in tow. They are 4th, 5th, and 6th in line on the bottom. Cameron Hackett's still trying to work his way up as the 5th car on the outside line. Dylan Jones taking a peek. Ron Morris as well, it appears. We've got a truck blinking in the back. Field rolling out of turn number 2. And it's still just all 2x2. There, it was a little bit of single file racing out back. That's a bit too far back. This is Kenny McCullough and Jeremy Osborne. Way far off of the pack. Rick Schneider, there he is in the number 3, the last car in the lead pack in 17th position. Kenny McCullough is just now entering turn 3, as well as Osborne and Chris McCullough way back here. And he's actually rounding out the field right now. That is crazy. But back to the lead of the race. Still just 2x2. Everyone being patient. It's 120 laps. There's only, 17 cars left in this race as of now, unless a caution comes out. So no reason to do anything stupid by any means. Kyler Wynn still leading most of these laps on that outside line, getting more of the momentum, rolling that top side and getting a side draft off of Matt Lee. We'll see it again. See, Matt's going to edge out Kyler off the corner, and Kyler's going to reel him back in off the corner. That's just the nature of how these oval tracks work. Steve Sizemore might be getting a little hot, trying to peek out for some air. Matt Lee going to have an advantage over Kyler this time by. Sizemore peeking way out. Ooh, someone's getting real loose in the back. It's Cameron Hackett. He got loose in the quad oval. He's locking the brakes up, and he's going to save it. That's good on him. But now he's going to be another driver that has lost the pack. And we're already down 9 laps in to a 16-car lead pack. Rounding out with Josh McCullough. Cameron Hackett with a good save right there in the number 9. Not what he wanted to see in his first start in this series, but hopefully he will get a yellow flag, so he will still have a chance in this race, as well as Kenny McCullough and Chris McCullough and Jeremy Osborne. They desperately need one of those now. And Chris McCullough, he's already 27 seconds behind the pack. He'll be going a lap down shortly. Matt Lee with the best advantage he's had so far tonight on that bottom. Getting ahead of Kyler Wynn right there. Still going to lead that lap. But now Kyler's reeling back in as they go around Chris McCullough, the first truck to go 1 lap down tonight. There he is going to be trying to find himself a spot in line. Matt Lee, strong run on the bottom. Now Falkingham just barely not clear of Kyler Wynn. Almost getting 2 trucks clear on the bottom side of the track now. So just 4 trucks on the top, hanging strong. They're able to maintain where they are. They just can't quite get Kyler Wynn clear down to the bottom. A lot of drivers just opting to stay on the bottom side behind Hunter Hastings, who is the 4th truck on that outside line. You have Osbornoff, Flanagan, let's see, Brennan Gagnon, Mark Vondell, Ron Morris, and Rick Schneider, Dylan Jones, and Josh McCullough. And now Chris McCullough is a lap down car. They're just going to stay down here and save some tire. Again, no point in trying to do anything stupid 9 laps into the race. Kyler Wynn blinking out for a moment right there. Then we get a little bit squirrely entering this quad oval. I'm not sure why the timing and scoring still says it's lap number 9. That is obviously not true. Let me try and work on that for the moment. Oh, okay. So that is deciding to stay on my screen right now. So the leaderboard is not correct. It is frozen. That is not even part of the PC issues that I was discussing at the beginning of tonight's broadcast. And now it's just a new one that's popped up, so that's incredible. I will wait for a yellow flag to come out and try and get that sorted out, unless we just don't have one, then I'll try and figure it out at some point later, but... yeah, apologies for this. I don't know what's been going on. I've never had an issue in 2 years of owning this computer, and all of a sudden in a week everything wants to start dying, so it's unfortunate. Try and get it sorted. Steve Sizemore, I keep watching him. He keeps taking such a wide arc on that second part of the quad oval. And he's almost hitting himself into the wall every time. Trying to get air, being the lead pusher to Kyler Wynn all this time. And he's doing a good job. He's maintaining Kyler next to Matt Lee and not allowing Daniel Falkingham to clear up if he wanted to. And that outside line does have a little bit more help now in the form of Brandon Gagnon and I believe Ron Morris behind him. Sure enough, that 76 from Atlanta Motor Sports. Coming up to that outside line, seeing what he can do. Hey, how about that? Tower's back up. It just took itself away earlier, and now it's back up, and it appears to be cooperating with us again. Terrific news. We're on lap 19. And nothing has changed whatsoever at the front. A bunch of guys just biding their time, waiting for these pit stops, of which there will be many by Atlanta standards. And now, outside line's really dying away now. Falkingham is clear of Kyler Wynn, but he's not going to take that, I wouldn't imagine. He wants to stay on the bottom side, save his tire for this approaching green flag pit stop. And just to save his tire in general, because tire saving here is vital to success at this racetrack. We'll go ahead and pull up tonight's weather as well. That's going to be a key sign. Track time's only 73, so that is good news. The track is not cooking out there for these drivers, which would obviously make it even worse, but at the end of the day, it's still Atlanta, it's still in a truck, and it still wears the tires out pretty badly, even on a relatively new surface. Kyler lost a lot of ground on that outside, went almost all the way behind Nash Brambilla 3-4 rows deep. And now Sizemore is catching back up to him. They're past Brambilla for the moment. Trying to get that run next up to Falkingham. Sizemore trying to push him a little bit, but yeah, that outside's just kind of dying, and Matt Lee, Daniel Falkingham, doing a good job of just kind of sitting where they are and controlling right now. Outside line is starting to die out. Hunter Hastings bailed out to the bottom. Ron Morris did that a while ago, leaving Brandon Gagnon kind of just stranded out there where he is. Going to be wanting to find a spot in line. You see Brian Hennings and Steve Sizemore took a very wide entry right there. I'm not sure if that's because of the tire wear or just because of maybe a little bit of tunnel vision. There's really no way to tell. It's going to be a tough task for that outside line to catch back up now, especially with their line dying out. Gagnon has caught up to the back of Brian Hennings. That will generate slightly more energy in that lane. Now Kyler Wynn's he's going to bail completely. He's going to go to the third lane and try to find a way to file himself into line. Interesting move by Kyler. Maybe I don't know if it's a fuel saving measure, a tire saving measure. So let's find out. There he is, that number 82 machine. Just going to sit down there on the bottom of the racetrack behind Hunter Hastings in front of Mark Vondel. Save a little bit of time, save some tires, save some gas. We still got 97 laps to go in this race, so it's going to be a long one, but that's good news for Matt Lee and Daniel Falkingham. They can just sit here and kind of control what they want to and how they want to at the front of this. Nash Brambilla, as well, sneaky driver to watch in Super Speedway racing in general. He's someone that's, in my opinion, very underrated, almost as underrated as Brian Hennings. I mean, it's basically in the same category. It's the guys that are always up front, consistently up front. They know what they're doing. Just have some bad luck hit them. And then the results don't show how well their efforts are in these races. But Nash doing a good job right now in that top 5. And that outside's getting a little bit of momentum now. Look at that. Steve Sizemore challenging Daniel Falkingham. Matt Lee's coming down to pit, it appears. Sure enough. Him and Kyler Wynn. And never mind. Oh, Kyler's getting real squirrely. Mark Vondel trying to come in with these two as well. So these two guys that were leading most of this race in their respective lanes coming in for their first pit stop, and everyone's going to get in cleanly. We'll go back to this. Oh, Brandon Gagnon and Brian Hennings, a little bit of contact back here. And we see a lot more guys diving in for pit stops now. Falkingham, Brambilla, Hastings, Hennings, Steve Sizemore, a late entry. That will be a penalty for Steve Sizemore. Brandon Gagnon's in. Joshua McCullough, Dylan Jones, and Rick Schneider, leaving just the Jack Jack drivers of Haynes, Osbornoff, and Flanagan out there on the racetrack. We'll see if everyone gets in clean. It appears Dylan Jones, a little bit of a tap to Hunter Hastings back there. Or Steve Sizemore, actually, excuse me. But they're going to be fine. Now, here's these guys. Flanagan, Osbornoff, and Haynes coming in for their pit stop. And we'll see how this cycles out. So this is going to tell you, I mean, this is lap 26 that this cycle started. We've got like 4 more to go. If I'm doing my math correctly, 4 more pit stops. Oh, Flanagan getting sideways into his box. Here's everyone else leaving now. Falkingham, Brambilla, Kenny McCullough a part of this. Chris McCullough as well. And then there's a gap. Here's Matt Lee and Kyler Wynn. Look at the run they have together. Going to clear everybody, it looks like, with relative ease. But once this group of 4 right here, Falkingham, Brambilla, and 2 of the McCulloughs get formed up, they should, in theory, reel Matt Lee and Kyler Wynn back into them. But now we got to see where these guys cycle out. Osbornoff, Haynes, and David Flanagan must have sped on his entry, and he is still sitting in the pits. So that's a tough break for Flanagan. He will go at least 1 lap down, maybe even 2, when this cycles back out, and that really hurt the efforts of his teammates. Jared Haynes and Trevor Osbornoff, they're just getting dog-walked by the field right now. If they were a group of 3 that entered, or excuse me, they entered fine, but exited together, had a little bit more momentum, they would have been in good company at the front of this thing, but that hurt them pretty badly. Let's look at Haynes, back in the 9th position, still in this, but with how spread out everything is, you just never know. Josh McCullough, there he is in front of him. Trevor Osbornoff going to cycle in behind Brandon Gagnon and Brian Hennings. And then you have this group of 4. They have now caught back up to Matt Lee and Kyler Wynn as expected. Kenny McCullough's taking it to the outside of the racetrack, along with his cousin, nephew, Chris. I keep forgetting how the family tree works in the McCullough family, but a family member, we'll just say that. A sibling, perhaps. Tried to take it to the outside, and then just nothing happened for him. All these guys trying to take a tire-saving line, they're arcing into and out of these corners. You can see it when, for example, we'll watch it this time. Matt Lee and Kyler Wynn, look at them leave that red line down there. They're going to go high, because that's a better tire-saving line. And they're going to continue to arc this trioval. They're going to arc down into turn number 1. And then we'll see them rise up out of the corner in an effort to continue saving their tires. That's not helping Kenny and Chris McCullough that much, because they're getting their run blocked every time by Kyler Wynn. They've made it up to Brambilla and Falkingham. And now, actually, Kenny is going to be clear here. Matt Lee's going to decide to step up and block that. Not sure if that was a good choice by Matt there. He has Kyler behind him, and he's cooperating with him, just kind of trying to run these lanes. And now you've got Kyler Wynn and Daniel Falkingham lined up on the bottom. Usually marks a death sentence for the rest of the field. Yeah, and Matt's just dropping back now. So is those McCulloughs. And you have Hennings and Gagnon. You see they've caught back up, as well as Osranoff, Joshua McCullough, and Jared Haynes. Dylan Jones, it looks like, should be able to catch. I'm trying to see some timings right now. Yeah, he's in the draft and is actively catching. So that's good for Dylan. But we'll be down to a pack that consists of only 10 lead lap cars, 12 total, with Kenny McCullough and Chris McCullough on that outside line. Matt Lee gets cycled all the way back to 4th. Maybe that's not such a bad thing for Matt. You know, he might be able to save a little more tire back there, save a little bit more fuel as well. Kind of let Kyler Wynn be the bird dog, as they say. Let him be up there and everyone follow him. Waste the most fuel. Kind of burn his tires up more than anybody. Who knows? You see the lights are about to be coming on here at Atlanta. That sun setting out there on the racetrack. And this will end up as a night race, which will change the temperature of the racetrack. And just out of curiosity, let me pull that up now and see what it's down. It's still at 73, so it hasn't cooled completely down yet. But it will later, as the sun continues to set, and then the moon rises. We've got contact at the front. Kenny McCullough just slammed the wall. What does Nash Brambilla do? What just happened to him? I don't know if him and Matt Lee just got together or what, but they were able to sort that out, thankfully. Kyler Wynn went topside. And now he's going all the way to the back, kind of tagging the wall himself. Now letting Daniel Falkingham be the leader of the race with Brambilla in tow, as well as Matt Lee working his way back to third. Brandon Gagnon, one of the new drivers here tonight. Good showing for him. Sitting in the 4th spot right now. Brian Hennings, Osmanoff Haynes, and all these other guys very thankful that they have caught back up to these leaders. Those two McCulloughs aren't stopping, though, on that outside line. They are trying really, really hard to, I would assume, get Kenny in front of everybody, so technically he's still on the lead lap if a caution does come out. Chris is 2 laps down. There's 4 cars, including Kenny McCullough, when they do pass him. 4 cars are going to be a lap down and 1 lap down in front of him. Kenny McCullough, Jeremy Osborne, Cameron Hackett. Let's see what the last one was. It's going to be David Flanagan, it looks like. Sure enough, yeah, that's going to be your 4 lap down cars. Currently only your 3 because Chris McCullough has now pushed Kenny kind of ahead of Daniel Falkingham for almost the majority of this lap. But he needs to get him down and clear. That's what he needs more than anything. And they're fighting a tough fight on that outside line. You see, nobody else wants to help him either. But they don't need the help. Look at Kenny clear down in front of Falkingham right there. Good for him. Great job by Chris. And I was about to say, I'm not sure why he was drifting back up right there. All the work was done. Now Chris is kind of stranded out there by himself. But he did an admirable job of getting Kenny up there to be the quote-unquote leader of this pack and maintain his lead lap status in front of the rest of these actual lead lap drivers. And you'll see Chris in that number 7. He's going to start dropping back. He doesn't have any help. He'll probably try to find a way in line behind Matt Lee. He's got a significant gap there if he wants to take it, but he's not going to. Matt Lee keeps peeking up like he wants to go with Chris. Could just be that tire saving line. And Brian Hennings kind of losing the bottom side of the track right there. Brandon Gagnon with a peak on the inside. And he will get underneath Brian there. Brian does have Steve Sizemore outside of him too. We saw Sizemore doing a good job pushing Kyler Wynn and maintaining him with the lead of the race. Could be good news for Hennings and Sizemore. Chris McCullough's still doing a great job just by himself on that outside lane. He started losing about 4 rows. Now he's worked his way back to clearing it. Not clearing, but at least a nose ahead of Daniel Falkingham, that 88 on the bottom side. And this will help him out a ton. Brian Hennings has arrived on the scene, as well as Steve Sizemore. A little bit of shuffling going around in the back. Kyler Wynn still just sitting back there, as well as Dylan Jones. Definitely not something that we don't expect to see Mr. Jones back here, just biding his time. There he is. You know, he never has a paint scheme. He's always just a bland white truck, car, whatever it might be out there. But he always somehow still finds a way, even when he likes to sit back for the majority of a race and get his way back up to the front. He always finds a way to get his way to the front and be a contender at the end of these things. So we will continue to watch him. Right now he's just saving his tire. He's in the top 10, in the lead pack. Don't do anything stupid. Just stay where you are and wait for the moment to come. And that's what him and Kyler Wynn are doing. There's Kyler in the 82. Jared Haynes is doing the same thing. That number 7 for JSR. Then you got Josh McCullough behind him. Trevor Osrenoth, also for the Jack Shack, just kind of sitting there. You know, they lost one of their teammates earlier, David Flanagan, speeding into pit road. He now sits a lap down. Maybe 2 laps down now, actually. Oh, no, he's actually currently in the lucky dog position. Good news for David Flanagan. We'll move over to him real quick. There he is, drafting with, I believe, Hunter Hastings. In this big group of trucks, this gaggle back here, look at this. Flanagan, Hastings, Schneider, Osborne, Vondell, and Hackett. They've formed their own little pack back here. And that's good for them. You know, they're not stranded by themselves. They know they're behind the 8 ball. They're all a lap down at least. Let's work together. Let's try and make some pace. They're obviously going to need a lucky break or 2 or 3 to get them back in contention, but at least they've kind of found a home with each other right now. Back up front, Steve Sizemore, it appears, has now ditched that outside line. He backed completely out of it, all the way behind Dylan Jones now. Brian Hennings will look to push Chris McCullough, still just hanging. You don't even need any help. He's just sitting out there by himself, maintaining. But now he does have help with Brian Hennings and now Brandon Gagnon in that 83. Hennings and Gagnon had a close moment earlier on in the race before the pit stops. They're still trying. I'm not sure. I'm kind of confused. It is very odd how this kind of works here. Chris McCullough, now that he does have help with Brian Hennings and Brandon Gagnon behind him, he's basically in the same spot he was in by himself. It's like the energy isn't really there. Even when you have 2 more trucks to come out there and help you, and he's still just kind of maintaining where he is. Now, you know, the tires have got to be kind of changing. Now you see Hennings just bails on it. He's going to bail down to the bottom in front of Nash Brambilla, his teammate. And remember, our first set of pit stops came on lap number 26 last time, and we're coming up to lap 52, which you would imagine the likes of Matt Lee and Kyler Wynn would come in this time or next time. Kyler has been sitting in the back saving, so he could probably go a little bit further. Same could be said for Matt Lee. We'll switch this camera and see if they do anything, and so far they're not. They're going to continue riding in line. But we will be seeing them in the next couple of laps. Brandon Gagnon is taking the lead of the race over Daniel Falkingham. Might have actually led that lap, even though they have two trucks that aren't the leaders in front of them. You got one that's on the lead lap by technicality, and then you have one that's now, by technicality, only one lap down, and becomes 2 laps down when he does get passed by the leader. Here comes Kenny McCullough in for a pit stop, and only him, so that's really going to hurt his efforts, and will probably go 2 laps down after this eventually before the next cycle happens, because nobody pit with him. He'll be by himself. Oh, Chris McCullough going way up to the outside of the track. Gagnon almost followed him up there. Here's Dylan Jones. Where did he come from? As we always say about Dylan Jones, he was just riding around in the back. Here he is, deciding he wants to make a move. And here comes some more pit stops. Falkingham, Hennings, Lee, Wynn. Trying to see who that next truck is. I believe it's Josh McCullough, potentially? Nash Brambilla. Okay, there it is. It looks like Hunter Hastings in as well here. They all come for their stops. Kyler getting pretty loose. Nash getting pretty loose. Hennings in the grass. A little contact, but they all make it safely. Good news for them. Back to these guys. Gagnon, Jones, Oswornoth, Haynes, and Joshua McCullough. The last 5 on the track. I can't tell what they're trying to do. Okay, they are. Oh, Dylan Jones having to force Gagnon down. He was trying to commit to pit road, and I'm not sure if Dylan might receive a penalty for that because he wasn't technically committed to pit road, and Gagnon wasn't giving it to him, so that's interesting. Gagnon gets sent sideways and saves it. And now that just leaves Oswornoth and Haynes out here together. You know, they went the furthest of anybody the last pit cycle, and now they're going to come in once more. Pretty safely, it appears. Good for them. See, Dylan Jones still in pit road here, and yeah, he definitely got a penalty for that, I would assume. Tough news for him. Here is Daniel Falkingham. He will take over the lead of the race, and he has Brian Hennings behind him. I say he's going to take over the lead. They actually don't have any help. Kyler Wynn is stranded back there. Mark Von Dell as well. They're not connected. Gagnon is still technically the leader. Here he is with Josh McCullough, but look at Falkingham and Hennings go by right there, dusting them. So this group works their way around Osborne. Kyler Wynn going to work his way around Gagnon and chop back down. Here's Oswornoth now leaving pit road. Jared Haynes kind of way behind. I'm not sure what happened to separate these two like that. Chris McCullough is with them as well. Well, we don't see those leaders yet, but they are rapidly approaching. That gap, you can see at Falkingham. They've picked up Kenny McCullough, it appears. So good for Kenny. He was able to not lose that much time on his pit stop, pitting by himself. Here's Trevor Oswornoth, who technically, I mean, it cycles out to the lead by almost 2 seconds, but he has no help with him and is going to be eaten alive in a very short amount of time by this group. Kenny McCullough lap down, Falkingham, Haynes, Hennings, and then Christopher McCullough. Rounding it up. Then you have Kyler Wynn. There he is with Brandon Gagnon and Joshua McCullough. Catching up to the second group. Trevor Oswornoth just out here by himself. What a great pit stop he must have had. And Kenny McCullough, it looks like he's going to go up. Hennings kind of trapped out there with him. And this group of what was 5 is now quickly turned to 8. Chris McCullough bowing out of it, it looks like. I mean, yeah, you know, like this group back here, they're not doing anything crazy. Trevor Oswornoth is still holding a pretty good lead, and now he's picking up draft off of, is that Cameron Hackett? Yes, in the 9, who is also picking up draft off Rick Schneider, who's getting it off Flanagan, and that's good news for Trevor Oswornoth. He's got his teammate David Flanagan right there. If those two link up before the pack in the back really getting themselves sorted, it's going to be a massive advantage for Trevor Oswornoth to try and win this race. But now he's trying to work his way around the traffic, and now there's a bridge car in Cameron Hackett. Most likely he's going to be caught here by Falkingham. Hastings in the wall right there. Falkingham, Wynn, and Haynes trying to split the middle on everybody right there. Trying to work through this lap traffic that Trevor Osmernoth just had to do. He's picked up his teammate Flanagan. The rest of the pack too wide behind, with Rick Schneider on the bottom of the racetrack, but everyone else lined up. All the lead lap cars, I should say, lined up together on that outside to try and get around these lap cars. And we'll see what Falkingham chooses to do here. If he's going to sit behind Trevor, or is he going to try and go around Trev? Osmernoth, he beats him too, and then he turns himself off of Falkingham's nose. The yellow flag is out. Oh my goodness. Trevor Osmernoth, and our first caution of the night comes from Trevor Osmernoth in the number 89. I hope I spoke too soon there. It looked like he just cleared himself off Falkingham's nose. But we'll find out. His teammate Jared Haynes assumes the lead after that. Let's go back and watch as he tries to nurse that thing back to pit road. Bring it up top, and he predicted it. He did a good job predicting it. No, I guess Trev didn't really come down. It didn't look like right there. Maybe Falkingham just kind of riding a little high. I'm not sure, but we're going to have to get a couple more angles of that. See Trev. Oh, my goodness. Cameron Hackett, ARCA break of the century into Trevor Osmernoth right there. Good thing there's a fast repair here tonight. Back us up again. It says Trevor Osmernoth has crashed again, apparently. I want to take a very quick look at that before I forget about it. Oh, my goodness. That truck, definitely some wheel damage. Yeah, absolutely. Look at that. This is under the yellow flag for Trevor Osmernoth. He got hit pretty square back there from Cameron Hackett. But let's see if we can get a couple different angles of this, because I'm trying to really see who went down or what. I'm going to do this one at full speed. I don't know. It's so small both ways. Kind of a tough call right there, but then Trev just gets slammed 10 seconds after the crash happens, adding to his damage when that was not necessary. It's like a different angle of it. Look at him. There he goes down to the apron. Does a good job trying to hold on to it, and then, oh, God. Oh, it just gets nailed by Cameron Hackett right there. Let's go back. Let's go on board with Trev. See what he saw through this. There he is. He predicts Falkingham trying to go around, and then just, there he goes. Locked it down, everything's good, and then bam. Let's get another point of view of that. Mr. Falkingham, here we go. Let's see what he sees. Let's back this up kind of further. So he has a run. Trev sees that, so he blocks the top. Great move. And I'll tell you, by that view, it looks like Falkingham just kind of got into him. It's kind of hard to say what really went on there, but let's go back again, and there is one more onboard I want to see here. Well, I guess Cameron did. You heard him on the brakes, and it was kind of strange to see where Trev was going. Well, disoriented perhaps, but that's significant damage to his machine. You would think. Oh, yeah, it looks like it just knocked the wheel out for Cameron Hackett. Oh, yeah, that wheel, I'll pause it right there. Look at that right front wheel. That thing is destroyed. Let me see if I can zoom in on that. Yeah, he's turning right. Or the wheel's turning right, and he's going left. Not what you want to see. But, anyway, there's Trev. exiting pit road, obviously. Oh, did he take a fast repair? Oh, the truck looks brand new. I would imagine with that wheel damage he had. He must have. And Field's back 2x2. Brandon Gagnon, the leader of the race, with Kyler Wynn to his outside. Brian Hennings third, Jared Haynes fourth, and Kyler Wynn and Jared Haynes is always we have for a second line right now. Everyone else, it appears, has topped off. To get some more fuel, the green flag's back in the air. Look at that start by Gagnon on the bottom. And look, the line of single file out back. Kyler Wynn's going to find his way down, leaving just Jared Haynes up top. Now Jared's going to find his way in front of Josh McCullough. Falkingham trying to make a move on Rick Schneider, who has gotten his lead back. Jared Haynes is pitting? Oh, that is unfortunate for Jared Haynes. I wonder what went wrong here for him. I mean, it was... So, I don't even know what could have given him a black flag right there, unless it was some restart violation. But that is Jared Haynes coming in to take a penalty under the green flag. That is tough. He's going to be needing some more cautions to happen. Gagnon still in the lead out of two. Falkingham by himself on that outside line, leading it around everybody. Kyler Wynn's going to hop up there with him. See Rick Schneider and Chris McCullough third and fourth on the outside lane. Falkingham easily to the lead, clears down in front of Gagnon. Couple more takers on that outside line right now, and somebody that really needed that caution to come out, and it came out at a very opportune time for him, was Dylan Jones. You see him fourth on the outside now in that white number 22. Technically in the 11th position right now. Trying to make a little headway. That's great for him. We saw him get a pit road penalty. That second cycle of green flag pit stops. Timely caution. And guess who's back? It looks like he's going to go to the back right here and try to file in and save some more tires, save some fuel. There's Jared Haynes now exiting pit road. Right back into the thick of the pack. He should be able to latch onto this pack, so that's good for him, but now he's going to be 2 laps down. I don't know what kind of penalty he could have just gotten on the restart for... Yeah, that warrants a 2-lap penalty, basically, at Atlanta. And I get it, Atlanta's shorter, so a penalty like that's going to be more harmful. But, I mean, goodness, I don't even think a restart violation if he jumped the leader or something like that. I didn't think that would cause any... Well, actually, well, no, I'm confused. He wasn't even the outside. That was Kyler Wynn. I don't know. I am perplexed on that one. No clue what just happened to Jared Haynes. I'll see if I can get some insight on that beforehand. I don't understand. He was fourth or it's technically fourth, second on the outside. He couldn't have passed the leader, and if he passed on the inside side, I don't know. We'll find out later. But that's tough for him. Falkingham, Gagnon, Henning still the top three. Josh McCullough fourth ahead of Kyler Wynn, trying to fight on that outside line with a push from Rick Schneider and Chris McCullough, Hunter Hastings, and now Jared Haynes as well. 2 laps down, but still in this pack, working himself to fifth on the outside line. Three wide in the back. Hunter Hastings and Jared Haynes going at it. I think Jared, I don't know. I need to know what happened to him. And Jared looks, I don't know if he's just trying to get back to the front so he can only be 1 lap down, because look at him trucking on that outside lane. He's going places, that is for sure. Look at him, just by himself, third lane. And he's all the way up to Kyler Wynn. He's going to clear Kyler Wynn. It looks like right now, sure enough. Must have got him some tires or something on that stop, because he just ripped around everybody. Look at him. He's going to have the lead almost in a couple laps the way he's going. Him and Gagnon trading a little paint right there. They're still going at it. Kyler Wynn trying to get up there to him, but not really able to right now. I mean, he's got 3 trucks behind him, but I guess just something's going on with the pushing, and it's just not getting Kyler up to where he needs to be behind Jared Haynes. It's definitely not where Jared wants Kyler. Jared will want Kyler right there on his bumper, get him clear of Falkingham, and basically pull the same thing that we saw with Kenny McCullough earlier. Get one of those laps back at least. Yellow flag flies, then bam. You know, you could take a wave around, then another quick caution back where you started as if nothing ever happened. But look at Jared Haynes doing the same thing Chris McCullough was doing out there by himself. Just holding his own. No help behind him. And while he's getting doored every other corner. Hanging tough up there. That's great to see for Jared. I hope he can find his way back to this. But look at these guys in the back spreading out in that quad oval. Like Chris McCullough might have tagged the wall right there in the back. Gagnon's still riding really high on Jared Haynes. And Jared comes down and parks it right on his door. He don't want no part of that. Kyler's still trying to get there, and he's inching ever so closer every few laps. But for some reason, just isn't getting there. Now, Rick Schneider way wide on Kyler Wynn in that quad over. Now he just comes down and doors Chris McCullough. We're crashing. Chris McCullough and Rick Schneider both spin. I'm surprised the yellow. There it is. The yellow flag is out. I mean, my goodness. What was that? That was kind of wild to see at a first glance. Chris McCullough, tough break again here at Atlanta. One of his best tracks. Having to tow once more, just like it happened a couple weeks back. Let's go back. I don't know what we just saw, but let's go back and see. And I think I can tell you where this originated from, so we're going to back it up back here. This is Rick Schneider in the 3s, riding up a little bit high on Kyler Wynn. He comes to approach the tri-oval, and I don't know if he just missed it or what. He was trying to get back in line, and then he just slams Chris McCullough once, twice, and then finishes him off. And then clips him again, turns him around. That's what's actually going to draw the yellow flag right there. Is those 2 trucks spinning out. I'm not really sure what to say about that, other than it looks like he just gets loose. Or tried to, maybe thought he was clear. There's really no telling. Let's get a different angle. Looking at me, just so wide out there, and then he comes down on Hastings, almost hit him, and then he's going to come down, bam, on Chris McCullough, bam, bam, into the wall. And then lift him up and take him for a ride and spin him around. Let's go on board with him. I'm going to back this up. All the way back here. Goes high. I don't know. I mean, if he got loose, it wasn't anything crazy loose. Who knows? Maybe the tires just got away from Schneider. I'm not sure. Go back some more. Let's see. Oh, maybe Chris McCullough. We'll see what he saw in this. Sees the 3 go out wide, and he's like, oh, well, okay, there's a spot. And then all of a sudden gets doored, wall, and then spin. This would be a good time to do what Triscaro did a couple weeks ago for one of the Thursday PGR races. Have that voice chat on during the broadcast. Pretty sure it'd be a fine time to do that, but there we go. The second caution is out. We had such good green flag racing going, and now the cautions are going to start, so let's go up. Falkingham and Gagnon, Hennings, Joshua McCullough, and Matt Lee. They're still leading this thing. David Flanagan is now back on the lead lap with all these cautions that have happened. Kyler Wynn finds himself 7th. Hunter Hastings in 8th. Kenny McCullough 9th. Dylan Jones in 10th. Let's check how many cars we have in the lead lap right now. Because more than we had earlier, and that's good news. Gonna have Nash Brambilla back here. There he is in that black, yellow, purple number 23 for Team PGR. But the 10th position right there for him. Then you have Dylan Jones and Rick Schneider, who just got a fast repair. Then Jeremy Osborne back on the lead lap. There's Trevor Oswernoth. Mark Vondell on the lead lap. And Jared Haynes gets one of his laps back. Good for Jared. He needs one more. And if he only gets one more, it'd be fine for him. He's the only vehicle that's one lap down. And it appears Chris McCullough is out of tonight's race after what just happened to him. That's tough. That is unfortunate. You hate to see that. Get taken out in a strange manner like that. You're never going to be happy about it. But either way, we're coming to lap 82. We're going to start that lap. It'll be 39 laps to go for Daniel Falkingham and Brandon Gagnon. And the outside does not go whatsoever. Look at them. Falkingham hitting's totally clear. McCullough, now Gagnon bailed to the bottom. Leaving Matt Lee and David Flanagan the first combo side by side. Make that Kyler Wynn and David Flanagan. And now David Flanagan with the help of Kenny McCullough. Matt Lee now decides he wants to hop up. Maybe try and get a look at the lead of this thing. Gagnon hops up as well. I'll tell you what, Brandon Gagnon, that's definitely a new name to me. Looking at some of these stats right now, he's solid I rating. 4,000 to 4,500 I rating. Definitely knows his way around a racetrack on iRacing, so good for him. Good to have him out here. He's done a good job up to this point. It's good to see a fresh name come here and do good and compete throughout an entire race. He did not like that push Matt Lee just gave him, though. I don't know what just went on there. That shot him out to the right. Now you look at Trevor Osmernoth doing the exact same thing that his teammate Jared Haynes was just doing. Take it up to the third lane and make something work. Look at him go. He doesn't have quite as much momentum as Jared did, though. Jared looked like he was doing 300 miles an hour in that third lane. Trev's hanging tough. He's right there next to Kenny. Matt Lee manages that. I think that's the first time we've seen that tonight in this race. The outside lane just cleared the leader of their line. Matt Lee. All right, another PC issue just happened. I do apologize for that. What I was saying, Matt Lee just got Brandon Gagnon clear down to the bottom front of Daniel Falkingham. That's good. I don't think we've seen that really since the beginning part of the race, if we have at all. We were watching Trevor Osmernoth. Unfortunately, had to give up his stride up there on that third lane, and then decides, I'm just going to go on the bottom. Save some tires, save some time. Why not? We still got at least one pit stop to go in this. Actually, probably only one more in general, if I'm doing my math correctly. Gagnon getting real loose on that bottom side with a push from Falkingham. Oh, Kenny McCullough, look how loose he just got in that 03. Third car on the top. Super loose, and he saved it. Great save for Kenny. He's got Jared Haynes behind him. Jared's playing in some rough waters right now. Being the first car a lap down, the only car one lap down. If there's a wreck in here and he's involved, he's not getting his lucky dog. And they don't even worry about the damage. You're not getting your lap back, and then you have to fix damage. And, oh, there it is. Flanagan, front of the field, and he clips Haynes. And that's going to be the yellow flag. Jared will not be the lucky dog. I mean, right on cue. As I was talking about it. Flanagan gets hooked leading the outside line. His teammate. And then McCullough and Jeremy Osborne get a piece of it. Let's go back and see this. David Flanagan did everything he could to try and save that. It looked like he was going to for a hot minute, but just became too much, I guess. May have been still getting pushed right here. Let's back it up and see. Not much to see yet. Gagnon coming up the track. Clips Flanagan. Slaps McCullough up. Flanagan, he's saving it, but then Kenny all in as it is happening, not much he can do. He's going to hit David, and then David's going to come down and clip Jared, slap him back up in front of Kenny McCullough. What a wild ride for David. Schneider working his way through. Kenny gets clipped to the outside lane, and then he's going to come down the racetrack into an innocent Jeremy Osborne right here, who's just trying to avoid the crash, and then bam. Osborne getting involved, kind of ramping off of Kenny for a moment there. The damage doesn't look bad on Jeremy, though. That's good. If he has any at all. Maybe a little bit of right rear. Right front looks okay. Jeremy might have got away pretty good from this. There's Flanagan. Cannot say the same for him. Look at that right front wheel. Again, pointing completely to the east. Get a couple more angles. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty simple call right there. Gagnon just kind of getting a little snap loose on the bottom, right up into Flanagan McCullough. That's tough. Let's get a couple onboards here. Let's go with Flanagan first, because he did a good job trying to save this. There he is. Oh, it gets turned. Saving it, and bam. It's tough for David. I mean, he was back up here, back in contention after some, adversity, I should say. And then just to get caught right back up in something else. Here's Kenny McCullough. Yep, pretty clear right there. We'll get one more here. We'll go on board Jeremy Osborne first. He's riding behind Dylan Jones. Just kind of sitting, biding his time. He was on the lead lap. Doing a good job, and he sees the crash. He's going to get a little loose on the apron. And he thinks he has it cleared, and bam, 0-3 right in his face. Nothing anyone could do, though. Obviously, Kenny just hit the wall. Might have some steering damage, just trying to save it. And then Jeremy nowhere to go as he was drifting on the apron of the racetrack. So let's take back live. Let's check in on some of these guys. There's Kenny. Don't know if he took a fast repair or what. He looks fine, as does Osborne behind him. So we can find Flanagan. There he is. Presumably a fast repair taken for David Flanagan. But at least he's still up here. And I will say, Jared Haynes got his lap back. As we're about to go back green, that's good. I guess it sure looked like there's some contact. Maybe netcode just saved Jared Haynes. Matt Lee chooses the outside lane and whacks the inside lane. He's about 2 truck lengths clear already in front of Brandon Gagnon. Now Trevor Osmernoss just hung out dry on the top side. Hunter Hastings the first guy to him, but Hunter doesn't have any help either. Kyler Wynn's going to come up and help Trev, so will Josh McCullough. Josh bails on that, actually. He's going to go back down to the bottom. Got one car pitting in the back. That's going to be Cameron Hackett, who's currently the first of the lap down cars. Coming in to serve some sort of penalty right there. He's actually 2 laps down, the only car any laps down. Matt Lee holding the lead over Trevor Osmernoff. Truck's kind of getting spread out again. Gagnon riding high again into Kyler Wynn that time. Osmernoff's going to get clear. No, he's not actually. Matt Lee, tough on that bottom. Gagnon riding high once more. There's a little bit of gap going on right here. You see Hunter Hastings, the R&R machine, back here, 10th position, hanging tough on the outside. Then you have David Flanagan, Kenny McCullough, Daniel Falkingham's all the way back here. Then Mark Von Dell, Nash Brambilla, and then Jared Haynes, Jeremy Osborne in danger of losing the pack now. But there's Jared Haynes. Look at him trying to go back up here. I want to lead this thing, and he did a great job earlier saying, I want to lead this thing. The run he had earlier, I can't get over that. It was crazy. But look at him on that outside. He wants to go places. Lee now a full truck clear of the outside lane. Osmerov had a look at it with a push from Wynn. but it just wasn't quite enough for Trev to clear down. Gagnon bouncing off doors again. Trevor's not going to appreciate that. I know Trev, and he's going to park that right on his door to prove a point. And honestly, as any racer should, you know, you don't want to have that happen. And you're going to show your disapproval when it does happen to you, as we all have done in the past. And even with all that's going on, look, Trev, there he is. Nose ahead of Matt Lee into turn 1. Now Matt getting the push on the bottom. Trev's going to get a little bit of a run here. Entering the corner. Both Gagnon and Matt Lee kind of washing up. Osmanoff loose with the push from Kyler Wynn. I'll tell you what I think we're seeing right now. Just considering looking at the leaderboard and when this camera switches. Daniel Falkingham is not going to just oh, never mind that. We just got sparks and some contact with Gagnon. That allows Osmanoff to clear down behind Matt Lee. That was a very odd look. Not what sure really just happened to that number 83 machine, but they all gathered it back up. Now he's going to door Kyler Wynn. And now that outside line just gets desecrated with all this going on. Jared Haynes is pitting again. There's no way he got another penalty. Maybe he's trying to short pit? I hope that's what he's doing. He's going to come in and pit. We'll keep an eye on that. I'll try and switch back to him real quick. We'll just check these guys. All single file, it looks like, throughout the whole field. And we'll see if any of them want to come in and pit. No. There's Haynes. Coming into his box. I guess we'll just watch and see. Sure enough, putting some tires on. There's the lead pack coming to lap him now. And there he is leaving. I guess a short pit from Jared Haynes. But nobody came with him. It's now Jared all that work he just did to get back on the lead lap. Now has to pit. And just start from square one again. And the whole field single file. That's telling me we should probably be expecting pit stops soon. Once one person does it, everyone's going to do it. And I'm looking in the chat. Carl Haynes saying he was out of fuel. He didn't pit earlier for the gamble. That makes sense. Probably took the wave around, needed a quick yellow to pit, and it just didn't fizzle out that way for him. That's unfortunate, but now he still needs a yellow more than ever. He's now the only car lap down. Cameron Hackett has retired from tonight's race. So that is good for Jared. Yellow flag flies, automatic lucky dog so long as he's not involved in it. But I wouldn't imagine much of a caution right now, at least as it stands. I mean, look how single file everybody is. Trevor Osmanoff, oh, I thought he was trying to pit right there. He went down to the apron, looked like he tried to pit. Gagnon trying to make a move, but nobody goes with him. There's a little bit of five-truck breakaway at the moment. With Lee, Osmanoff, Gagnon, Hennings, and McCullough. Joshua McCullough, that is. Back to Kyler Wynn, Dylan Jones, Rick Schneider, Hunter Hastings, David Flanagan, and everybody else. So what I was trying to say earlier, watching Daniel Falkingham, David Flanagan kind of lay back there in that second little group of the pack back there, not making any moves, they're trying to save fuel. I assume, looking at everyone else, here's Osmanoff and Flanagan coming into pit. So this cycle's starting to begin, and this breakaway is getting stronger for this group of four. And if this crew right here, Lee, Gagnon, Hennings, McCullough, they all pit together, they all leave together, that's going to be good news. They're side by side in the back. Look at them back there. Kyler Wynn and Dylan Jones side by side, and they're just losing time right now. Or maybe they don't want to pit. Maybe they think they can make it on fuel and they're just slowing the pace down. We'll find out. Look at everyone else. Lee, Gagnon, Hennings, McCullough. They're not going anywhere. They're not trying to pit yet. But they could just be pushing the pace. Trying to force a hand, maybe? Who knows? Let's see if I can pull up something real quick. Is this it? Sure enough. Matt Lee doing 183 miles an hour. I wish we could see maybe a throttle input from him. No, that's not really going to show much, is it? I'm trying to see just at speed, which, I mean, this looks pretty on par. But now, look in the back, like Jones and McCullough, or excuse me, Hennings and Josh McCullough just back completely out of this. Kyler Wynn trying to give a push to Hennings. Maybe they realized what was up. Like, hey, we need to drop back here and save fuel too. And now it's just a scramble of who wants to be the leader of a line because none of them do. This is always hilarious to watch and experience in a race. Even this group right here with all this going on. Oh, my goodness. Brian Hennings and Kyler Wynn. Almost getting into it right there. This group's now caught back up. Oh, Matt Lee. Did he just get hooked? Oh, God, goodness. Matt Lee was just getting right hooked by Brandon Gagnon. I'm sorry. There's another iRacer named Alex Gagnon. Look at the run topside. Rick Schneider, Kyler Wynn. Schneider to the lead out of 2 with 15 to go. Now they're coming into pit. Matt Lee, Brandon Gagnon is going to almost hit Matt Lee. Looks like he did right there. And Kenny McCullough is going to come in as well. Look at Kenny letting it eat coming in on that apron. There they are. Osborne in as well. That could be an asset to that group of 3 that just pit. Rick Schneider, the leader of the race. Kyler Wynn behind him. Dylan Jones, Hunter Hastings, topside. Josh McCullough third in line. What do we see here? We see Josh McCullough peel into pit, and only him. No help home for Joshua McCullough. Tough for him. Dylan Jones now trying to get the lead away from Rick Schneider. Hunter Hastings trying to gather it up, push with him. Hastings bails behind Kyler Wynn. Leaving just Dylan Jones out by himself. Dylan needs to find a way in and find a way in quickly. Because I would assume if Hunter Hastings did that, his plan is most likely to come in and pit this time. Jones is going to find a way in behind Hastings and in front of Hennings. That's good for him. Let's switch this camera real quick. Kyler Wynn coming to pit. And everybody, oh my goodness, Dylan Jones and Brian Hennings and Hunter Hastings are going to come into pit. Rick Schneider all by himself. He now has Daniel Falkingham, Nash Brambilla, and Mark Vondell in tow. Here's Wynn, Hastings, Jones, and Hennings coming in to take their pit stop. Kyler getting a little bit snappy loose. Everyone coming in. Pretty good, solid entry by this group. And here's everybody else. Schneider, Falkingham, Brambilla, and Vondell. All just hanging in there, and they're probably going to come in and pit either this time or next time. They're going to opt to not do it this time. Or, here's a crazy thought, what if they're good on fuel? Now, wouldn't that be something? That would be a wild turn of events. Here's a look at these guys. Kyler Wynn, Hunter Hastings, Brian Hennings, Dylan Jones. Obviously going to go lap down. Exiting the pits now, but where are they going to cycle with the likes of these guys? Trevor Osmoroth and Jeremy Osborne, that's all the help there is there. I don't think they're really going to have time to. Flanagan's all the way in the back. There he is, trying to make the most time possible. And these guys still opt to not pit. Rick Schneider, Falkingham, Brambilla, and Vondell. They just might make this thing on fuel. I don't know. I see John Ward in the chat. No way they can go 11 laps. I don't know. I really don't know why else these guys would be staying out like this. As late as they are. The shorter pit stop, I guess. But... well, it wouldn't even be a shorter. It would be a longer one. Sorry. I don't know. I guess we'll just find out, wait and see. Because right now, it is 4 cars that are guaranteed to finish in a cash spot tonight. If it stays as is. Because the whole rest of the field is a lap down. What are they doing now? Well, they're not going to do it again. And you see how far off Falkingham is? Let's see if I can pull this back up. Let's go to Daniel Falkingham. Not that one, this one. Yeah, look at that speed. Look at the pace that he has brought this down to. We saw Matt Lee, who was one of the guys that just came in and pit, doing 183, 4, 5, something like that number at the end of every straightaway. Falkingham just hit 176. They're backing this pace down to try and make this fuel. They have to be, because just look at that number right down there. I don't know. We'll see. We will see. Let's just take a look at these guys. These guys are going to be battling for that final cash spot now. They're all a lap down. Right now, Brandon Gagnon holds the position. Matt Lee pushing him. Kenny McCullough, Kyler Wynn outside. Hunter Hastings, Dylan Jones, Brian Hennings all involved in this as well. Here's everyone else. They're still staying out. Oh, my goodness. Oh, we're crashing. Never mind. It's all irrelevant. Kenny McCullough up and over with Hunter Hastings. What a wild crash. Hastings and McCullough were just morphed together. And I hate that, because that would have been so cool to see if that worked out. But hey, maybe it will. Maybe this helps Schneider and Falkingham and Brambilla. Without an overtime, they can stay out here and they can still... Well, I mean, actually, no, it wouldn't. I mean, they come in and pit now, they're still only going to... It's still going to be that top 4 drivers. Because everyone else is a lap down. Gagnon's going to get his back as long as he wasn't involved in the crash. But he's going to be at the very back of the pack. Well, here you see all these guys coming in. I'm going to keep an eye on this. Just to make sure nobody... I mean, it'd be pretty stupid to try and stay out, but... Okay, they're all going to pit. Good. Alright, let's go back and see what just caused this. Saw Kenny McCullough and Hunter Hastings get into it. There it is. And Kyler Wynn just turned Hunter Hastings into Kenny McCullough. At least from what I just saw. Interesting. Maybe not. Let me look at this again. Let me slow it down. Yeah. I mean, Hunter came up a little bit prior to that. Kyler came down a little bit more than he did and ended up clipping him, and a catch fence crash at Atlanta. Here's another crazy angle of it for you. Look at that. Up and over for them. Let's back it up again. Let's go on board. Let's go with Kyler Wynn initially. I don't know. I think, you see this happen and people think, oh, it's intentional or whatever. I don't know. It could have been. It doesn't look that intentional. If it was, he did a really good job of making it not look intentional. Let's go up and see a couple others. Let's go to Kenny McCullough. Kenny just gets blindsided. There he goes, up and over. And then you have Hunter Hastings behind that. Getting turned and up and over, and albeit, everything said, not much damage for either of them. It's crazy when you flip a truck here. Not a lot of damage ever happens in them. And I do stand corrected on everything I said. I know, you'd think, being someone that's watched NASCAR their whole life, that I would actually understand this. So, everyone's back on the lead lap. That was one lap down. However, Schneider, Vondell, Falkingham, Brambilla, their spots are basically as is. Because they pit and everyone else took the wave around outside of Brandon Gagnon, who just got the lucky dog. At the end of the day, that specification doesn't matter because they're all just going to be lined up single file back here. So, this is going to be one of the restarts of all time I think we're going to see here. It's going to be 3 laps to go, and there's only 2 cars on the outside lane. I'm going to switch to this camera because we'll definitely see everything that's going around in the background. Here comes Rick Schneider into the restart zone. The green flag is out in the air. Kenny McCullough, look at him go. Is he just bailing out, it looks like? He is. Kenny McCullough bails. Gagnon driving through Falkingham. Falkingham goes middle. Gagnon doesn't go with him. Vondell gets hooked at the front of the field, and here we go, the big one. Vondell, Hennings, Brambilla. You hate to see this. It happens every single time, doesn't it? Brian Hennings. There's Von Dell, Brambilla. It's unfortunate. It's expected, but it's still unfortunate. Let's go back. Von Dell got hooked initially. Let's go see. There we are. Let's bring it up. So Gagnon's driving through Daniel Falkingham. We see that. Falkingham decides to go middle. Gagnon disagrees. He wants to go to the bottom. We now have 3 wide. Nash tries to go down. Him and Vondi come together right there. And then Hennings nowhere to go. Hastings nowhere to go. Just a 4-car jam session up in the outside wall of turn 1 and 2. Come back and see. Maybe this will be a little bit better. It's kind of hard to tell. Between Brambilla, I mean, it's so close. It's kind of like that thing earlier. Brambilla, you can obviously see come up a little bit, but then Von Dell is trying to arc the corner maybe ever so slight a little bit, and then they come together. Tough to call, but go back and get this angle of it real quick. There he goes. A little 360, almost a full 360 around for Von Dell. And Hennings and Hastings just had absolutely nowhere to go. Getting on board with we'll do Nash, and then we'll do Hennings, I guess. Let's go back. Back it up a little bit. This is Nash Brambilla behind Mark Von Dell. He sees that opening in the middle. I don't know. There was a lot of room down to the bottom that Nash could have taken right there. Trying to make that move. But I don't know. It's nothing crazy. It's racing. It happens. Here's Brian Hennings. He's behind Dylan Jones. He's going to go up to the top side behind his teammate Nash, and then bam, and then bam. All you can say. Well, that's that. Let's go back live. It's Kenny McCullough exiting the pits. Rick Schneider is still the leader of the race. What an upset winner this would be. The 3 of Rick Schneider bringing this one home. That would be pretty cool to see that. Going to be a tall order for him, though. You got Daniel Falkingham to his outside. You have Brandon Gagnon behind him. Matt Lee behind Falkingham in 4th. Kyler Wynn 5th. Dylan Jones 6th. Josh McCullough 7th. Trevor Oswernoth back up to 8th. David Flanagan back to 9th. And Jared Haynes back to 10th. Now, how about that? 8th, 9th, and 10th. All Jack Shack drivers. All have had their own share of adversity in this race. All back together and can probably make something happen here at the end of it. After that, you have Hunter Hastings, who was just involved in that crash. Maybe didn't get too much damage, nothing too crazy, because he is back out here in 11th. Brian Hennings, I believe, took his fast repair on that one, sure enough. Brian is still in this. You have Jeremy Osborne behind him. Nash Brambilla still up here. Mark Von Dell, unfortunately, still sitting in pit road, so this will be our first attempt at overtime. We have 2 more if we need it. Pace car is going to roll to pit road for Rick Schneider in the 3 and Daniel Falkingham in the 88 on the outside. What's going to happen this time with the field all double filed back together? We'll find out. Schneider into the box. Green flag is out. Seems to be a pretty decent start on the bottom. Maybe not decent enough. Falkingham with a nose ahead, but not enough. Schneider on the bottom of the racetrack. Going to get a little bit of... Ooh, my goodness. Contact. Josh McCullough and Trevor Osmernoth. Now you have the Jack Shack lined up completely. Schneider gets hooked. Rick Schneider just got turned at the front of the field. There he is. What a tough break for him. Back up front, Daniel Falkingham, Matt Lee now going at it. There goes the Jack Shack, top side. Oswernoth, Flanagan, and Haynes. Will they have a run? Not yet. They had to file back in. Daniel Falkingham going to take him to the white flag of the race. Oswernoth gets hooked, and there goes most everybody behind it. Jones, Oswernoth. Now we're down to Falkingham, Gagnon, Wynn, and Lee. Who will win this race out of this group of 4? Gagnon with a little bit of an advantage right now over Daniel Falkingham. Kyler washing up the track a little bit, trying to push Falkingham. Who's going to get the run? Looks like Brandon Gagnon potentially going to get a bit of a run. Maybe not. Falkingham at the line. Daniel Falkingham is going to win tonight. Win! My goodness, I cannot speak tonight. Daniel Falkingham wins the race over the first-time competitor Brandon Gagnon. What a night from him. What an absolute terrific debut night for Brandon Gagnon. In the MMS Little Dogs Big Dogs Series, Daniel Falkingham wins tonight's race. Congratulations to him. Stick around for a moment and watch him celebrate. Kyler Wynn rounds out tonight's podium in the 3rd position. There's Rick Schneider trying to wheel it back to the line. That is so tough for him. Looked like we were going to have an upset winner tonight, and then he just gets hooked out of turn 2. As Falkingham does his donuts right in front of him. It's almost poetic. But then you have Matt Lee in 4th, and then Nash Brambilla, who comes back to the 5th position and gets himself a cash spot tonight. So good for him. As Falkingham continues to celebrate, we'll pull up the rest of these results really quick. 6th place tonight, Joshua McCullough, 1 spot short of the money. Jared Haynes will be 7th. Hunter Hastings in 8th. Trevor Oswernoth 9th. Jeremy Osborne in 10th. Rick Schneider 11th. Dylan Jones 12th. David Flanagan 13th. Brian Hennings 14th. Kenny McCullough 15th. Mark Vondell 16th. Cameron Hackett 17th. Chris McCullough 18th. Excuse me. 19th place will be Steve Sizemore, Ron Morrison 20th, and I believe that actually rounds out tonight's field. Logan York, James Waring, and obviously me did not take any laps tonight, so that was the field of our competitors in this race tonight. So let me empty this and go back. Let's just take a look at that last lap crash we just saw really quickly. I'll focus it on Trevor. He's the first car I saw get turned. Might have got teammate on teammate crime right there. I don't know. Trev getting a little airborne, and look at everybody else getting airborne. Brian Hennings. Oh, my Lord. The crash for Brian Hennings. That number is 74. Let's actually back that up and watch him in this. Oswernoth hooked, and then Jones nowhere to go. McCullough nowhere to go. Hastings, Flanagan up and over, and then Hennings actually up and over. And then a love tap from Hunter Hastings to Flanagan at the end of that. Well, there you go. Falkingham, your winner here tonight. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the rest of these grid results really quick, and we will grab your top 3 finishers for interviews momentarily. Trying to see what's going on here. Again, PC decides to act up at the best times, doesn't it? All right, we're good. I will return momentarily with our top 3 finishers. Stick with us. Welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway for MMS Money Racing's Little Dogs Big Dogs series. We have your winner, Daniel Falkingham, in here with us. Do you have a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Well, it was a terrific green flag race, the first half of it. Some strategy and obviously some field separation, as naturally comes at Atlanta Motor Speedway when you have green flag pit stops. And then all the chaos comes, as it always does. And there was something, the main thing I want to ask you is this. We saw you before the first little rash of cautions came out at the end. You and about 4 other guys were just laying a few truck links off the back of the pack, saving your fuel. And then everyone pits, and then you, Schneider, Vondell, and Nash Brambilla cycled to the lead. Did y'all have enough fuel to make it?
It was going awfully close. That's why I topped up at the one to go, because I wanted to try it. And I think from where I was running, I was about to, I think I was going to be like half a lap short, around there, because I had 0.4, 0.5 a lap from finishing to the end. But I know with how much time you lose on pit road here, I felt like it was going to be worth it because I could just coast around and still make it back to the line before everyone would probably catch us anyway. So I felt like taking the risk, which was going to work. But plus, you have the risk with the caution come out, which happened, which drives everyone a lap down that we can come down and get our fuel, tires, whatever, which makes us good to the end, and we have the track position for those late race restarts. So yeah, I don't think we could have executed that more perfectly. So I think either way, I probably was going to run out, but I would have had enough to coast to the end because we had that much time in everybody with how much time you lose on pit road with the pit road or where you have to enter in turns 3 and 4. That gives up at least probably like a good 5 or so seconds. So yeah, we were kind of close, but no matter what, we were in really, really good shape.
Yeah, 100%. It's one of the best spots you want to find yourself in, and you managed to persevere even with the caution coming out and still grabbing the win here tonight. Walk us through the rest of your race, like just strategically, how do you approach an Atlanta race when you have 120 laps and only 20 drivers out there, only 20 other obstacles out there for you? What is your approach to an entire race plan? Do you save your fuel, save your tires, or do you want to be up front, you want to lead the whole thing while doing all that at the same time? What's your approach?
Yeah, it's especially at the start of the race with how few people we had, only like 20 people. It was fine. I was fine with just like riding, just knock some laps off, and then as I say that, it's funny because I brought up the first caution, which I got to apologize to Trevor about that. And I just kind of had television right there. I couldn't decide if I wanted to drop low behind David and keep saving fuel and just riding, or like push him around David, and I just straight up turned him. So I'm very sorry to him about that. Which I think he got back in the race. He got all the damage fixed. I'm not sure, but he was right there competitive till the end. But still, I feel bad for doing something stupid like that. So apologize to him. But yeah, I was content with just doing all the riding and whatnot, trying to take care of my fuel and whatnot, and then just trying to save all my tire sets too for the very, very end of the race in case like we had a rash of yellows, because handling did definitely come into a play, especially after the first caution or the first pit stop when we get like 30 or so laps on a set of tires. So definitely doing a lot of conserving because we only had 2 tire sets to play with, and definitely want to like save them all for the right time. So it took one set at halfway, and then took my last set right when I pitted with like 5 to go when we were saving our fuel and strapped all those guys a lap down because I had all the grip in the world to push and just to move my truck anywhere I wanted, and I didn't worry about like losing it or whatnot. So definitely had to do a little bit of management, especially with the truck, because these trucks definitely move around a lot no matter what, like how many people are racing or what. Like they have handling come into it quite a bit, especially with how tight the racing is around here. So a lot of management in the beginning, which allowed us to push right till the very end.
Yeah, terrifically ran race by you once more, almost as it always is for you in Money Racing. Congrats again on yet another victory here tonight for you and your teammate Mark Vondell, who looked like he was going to have a shot at it at the end. Unfortunately, gets taken out late. But go ahead and give out your thanks and your shout-outs.
Yeah, shout out to Mark, man. Like, he was on that same strat with me. Looks like we were all going to be sitting pretty, but then he just got wrecked on a late restart, which I feel bad for him, man, because we both deserve to finish up there. But glad to like get another win for us to make sure we stay locked for the championship race in a couple weeks, couple months' time, whenever that is. But yeah, shout out to Kenny for putting this on. Shout out to all the admins, all the McCulloughs who do this stuff. Shout out to you for broadcasting. I guess you were a one-man show tonight, so appreciate you broadcasting. Thanks to everyone who comes out and races. Shout out to everyone watching. And once again, you got to say sorry again to Trevor. He did not deserve to get spun like that, but I'm glad he was still fighting to the very end. But you never want to do dumb stuff like that. But apologize to him again, and yeah, that's about it. Thank you, everybody.
There you go. That is tonight's winner, Daniel Falkingham. Congrats again. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you, Landon.
And currently, that is the only driver that we will have the ability to speak to right now. Nobody else is in the waiting room. Gagnon, Wynn, or really anybody else for that matter. So I guess we'll just stick with what we got right here and round it off with your winner, Daniel Falkingham. We got a word with him. We appreciate him for that. What a race. I mean, honestly, it was a good race. It always is every time we come to Atlanta. You only have 20 cars, but at the end of the day, it's a little bit different. It's not the same normal bread and butter, Daytona being the bread, Talladega being the butter of just your normal super speedway racing. No, you come to Atlanta and it introduces a little bit of more skill, some strategy, some tire saving, and everything of that nature. So it's definitely a fun one to watch every time, even though, you have 120 laps for 20 cars. It can kind of drag sometimes, but I feel like we definitely had some good entertainment throughout tonight's race. And I think, honestly, what we're going to go ahead and do, we're going to see a couple more drivers in here right now. Kyler Wynn's down here. I'm going to bring Kyler Wynn up. We still won't get tonight's second place finisher, Brandon Gagnon, but we'll speak with Kyler real quick, and then we'll try and get a word with Matt Lee. Kyler Wynn, Landon in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yep.
Well, good race for you. Kind of a strange one, especially when it came to the strategy at the end. You had 4 cars that were banking on saving some fuel, and honestly, we're going to make it if nothing happened. Of course, something happened, and it brings the rest of the field back into it with a little bit less track position. But walk us through your race and how you managed to persevere for a third-place finish tonight.
Yeah, honestly, a pretty uneventful race. I wish it was shorter because I hate being around here for this long. Especially, I think it's kind of redundant that we're doing these long races. I think 80 laps would be like the perfect amount for Atlanta. But either way, I cashed. Can't complain. Good run to the end there between us 4. They all died behind us, so it kind of made things easy. I committed to Dan, the 2 teammates on top each other. We had a hell of a race coming to the line.
Yeah, if I can, I'm definitely going to agree with you on the the race length, because it definitely can be, only 20 cars out there. You want to obviously have more, and then you have 6 times more laps than you do cars on the track, so it kind of makes it a little redundant, like you said. But at the end of the day, the race got more exciting as it went on, as it always does. The wrecks always come, and you managed to come through just strategically. I asked Dan the same question. What is your approach when you come to an Atlanta race? Do you want to save your tire? I mean, you obviously want to be up front all the time. We know that. All of us know that. But what is your approach from the tire saving standpoint, from the fuel saving standpoint, just in general every time you come to Atlanta?
Man, it's always interesting coming here. I'm not gonna lie. It's different every time. Like PGR a couple of weeks ago, we were saving tires. Here we were saving fuel most of the time. It depends on the car and the combo, if it's day or night. So it's different every time, to be honest. But yeah, just being up front most of the race, or as much as you can, because I think that's the safest place to be. That's my goal when I come into these super speed races. But there's that variability of fuel and tires and all that at the Shrek.
Oh yeah, always is. Definitely. I know everyone that watches one of my broadcasts, this is by far the best track we come to. It's more skillful, and you obviously see the cream rise to the top when it comes to these things. Go ahead and give out your thanks and your shout-outs.
Yeah, you for broadcasting. You do a great job with these. I think you were solo tonight. Good job.
Thank you.
And Kenny and all the McCulloughs for putting this on. They put a lot of hard work into the series. Glad to be here.
There you go. That's tonight's third-place finisher, Kyler Wynn. Congrats again. Thanks for talking to us.
Yeah.
The next up, I figure we will go to Matt Lee. Matt has a habit of being in a Discord call and not exactly being at his mic, so I guess we'll just find out with everybody. Let's pull him in here. Matt Lee, Landon in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got it.
There he is. We were going to get a word with Brandon Gagnon, unfortunately not in the Discord, so we can't bring him in. But walk us through your race. You got the pole for tonight. Congrats on that. And you were running up front the whole time, a little bit of adversity here and there, a little bit of struggle here and there, but you work your way back to 4th in a cash spot. Walk us through it.
Yeah, I was doing really good up front, had good strategy, and then I completely messed up that second pit stop, sped a little bit coming in. And, I just boneheaded move, looked up in the mirror, saw the guys coming, and sped up a little bit, and it was just a little too much. But, took the wave around when everyone else did, got back on the lead lap, and got lucky with the caution there, and along for the ride, trying to stay out of mayhem the last few cautions.
Yep, that's always the goal. You got to stay out of the chaos that Atlanta brings with it. But, you're one of the top dogs here tonight. What was your, you were kind of on the backside of what was going on along with Kyler Wynn. When it was a 4-car breakaway, everyone else pit. You had Falkingham, Vondell, Schneider, and Nash Brambilla. They were going to win the race, no matter what, even if they ran out of fuel half a lap to go. What were you thinking in that moment before the yellow flag came out? I mean, obviously your goal at that point is just going to be 5th place, but, I mean, how much are you praying for a caution at that point?
Uh, it really didn't matter if it went green from that point to me because I had enough fuel. If we got that caution. Um, I really wasn't banking on all those guys to make it. To be completely honest with you, I know when we slowed down those couple of laps that it really hurt. Um, us leaders and help them guys at the back that were saving. So I just didn't think. Jeez. I was looking at my calculator and we were having to save like 1.5, 1.6 gallons to make it. And it was just like, how do you save that much in that short amount of laps to me?
Yeah, it's a struggle, and honestly, I don't think anyone ever really has the perfect strategy when it comes to the tire saving. You know, it's kind of you just do the best you can and hope for the best. And it all ended up working out. You get yourself a fourth place finish tonight. Go ahead and give your thanks
Still
and
had
your
a set
shout
of tires.
Oh, you still have a set of tires. Now that's impressive. Didn't even use
Yeah.
that last set of tires. That's
No,
definitely
wish
impressive.
I had them.
Yeah, that it could have helped there, but hey, look, I mean, you weren't involved in that crash at the end, so congrats for that.
That's right.
And a cash spot again. Go ahead and give your shout outs.
Yeah. Well, Brandon had a good run. It's fun racing with him. Haven't raced with Brandon in a long time. Really good buddy. You guys are doing the broadcast. Kenny putting on the race. Yeah. Blanchard's towing. About it.
There you go. That's the word from our fourth place finisher here tonight, Matt Lee. Thanks for talking to us. Congrats again.
Thanks, buddy.
And well, I believe we do finally have our second place finisher. At first, I thought we were just be talking to Falkingham, and now everyone wants to show up. Let's go ahead and bring him in here. Brandon Gagnon landed in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yes, sir.
So there he is. First time I've seen your name in one of these in a while. I'm not sure if you used a money race or not, because I've only been around for about a year at this point. But congrats on what I believe to be your debut in this series. You ran up front all night. Walk us through your race.
Yeah, no, it felt good. To be honest, I think this is the first time I've ran in here for a year at least. But I just want to go ahead and apologize to Rick. I thought it was hard racing and everything seemed well. I can't thank Matthew Lee enough for pushing me, and it was a lot of fun here tonight.
It always is at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Always a little bit of fun, always a little bit of skill, as I've been saying to just about everybody. And it said the same thing to Kyler Wynn a second ago. The cream rises to the top in a track like this, where the skill is a little bit more different. You have to introduce a little bit of tire saving, a little bit of fuel saving all along the way. Everything that makes a good driver a good driver. And tonight you proved yourself to be one of those. What was your approach coming into this race? Did you want to stay up front the whole time? Were you ever thinking about being conservative? What was your thoughts on that?
I'm trying to run second or third for a majority of the time to go ahead and save the fuel. I really think people don't realize how much the tires wear. So backing up the entries and saving fuel at the same time is huge. So I did not want to stay out front for long. I wanted to run second or third for a while. So being able to just back up my entries, nobody run over me, save the tire, because at the end of the race, being able to hold that bottom line is what got us where we were.
Well, there we go. A great second place finish for you here tonight. Go ahead and give all your thanks and your shout outs.
Absolutely. Nerditudes, Studio Displays, eTalk 21 Sports, Boomer Button Box, Icon Apparel, everybody that's on board of this thing, man. It was a lot of fun. Looking forward to doing this next week.
There we go. That's the word from our second place finisher tonight, Brandon Gagnon. Thanks for talking to us. Congrats.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for the broadcast.
Well, there we go. We'll bring this. My goodness. There we are. I'm telling you, these computer issues are about to be a problem. Yeah, because I just keep getting dragged and things keep lagging, and it just. Who knows? I'm going to try and get this sorted out. But your winner tonight, Daniel Falkingham, congrats again, and to him and everyone else that got a cash spot tonight and all the drivers competing here in the MMS Money Racing Little Dogs Big Dog Series. Tune in tomorrow night. I unfortunately will not be on the call for tomorrow night, but we will have this debut of season number 2 of the PGR Light Series tomorrow night. Michael Triscaro will be on the call, along with Matthew Baker, apparently trying to do RC halfway across the planet. He has been deployed to, I believe, one of the countries in the Middle East, so obviously we hope he is safe over there and has a good time, and most of all, a safe time while he is there. And he's going to try and still be involved with PGR, of course. And we'll, I guess, see how his internet. We sent a picture of his setup the other day. That was pretty cool. in his little pod or whatever it is they call it in the military. So we'll have Triscaro and Baker on the call for tomorrow night's PGR Light Series race, the first race of season number 2. It was such a success last season. I can't wait to see what happens this upcoming season. And then Tuesday night, we'll be back with RMR Tuesday Night Thunder, of course, followed by Wednesday. I believe we'll be broadcasting some more Bristol racing, short track racing, presented by RNR, the Roughneck Racing Boys, James Wagner, Chris Melton, all those guys over there. Going to be putting up some more short track races for us on PGR. After that, Thursday, of course, back with the Intimidator Super Speedway Series. Friday and Saturday. Now, this is something. If you're not in the PGR eSports Discord, we'll go ahead and announce this as well. Upcoming, I doubt it's going to be this week. It's probably going to be a while from now. There's going to be 2 new things introduced into the PGR eSports world for Fridays and Saturdays. Friday night, we're going to have something called Friday Night Shack now. It will be hosted by myself and Trevin Osmernoth of the Jack Shack. It's going to be a little bit different. Definitely something I don't think anyone's ever seen before in the PGR or probably iRacing in general, what we've got planned for that. Definitely looking forward to that. That's all I can really say right now. We're still trying to work out a lot of the details, but it's going to be fun, and that's upcoming. Also, Saturday, we're going to be having a new league popping up. An actual league with not just super speedways. We're going to have some normal tracks. It's going to be a different, obviously, as far as we have it set now, I should say. 21 race season with a bunch of different tracks, 21 different race tracks. Only 3 of them are super speedways with all different cars at the same time. That'll be on Saturday nights again, upcoming. We don't know when it's going to be yet. We still got to sort everything out with that. So tune in for that. Join the Discord if you want to see updates on all of that as well. We appreciate you tuning in tonight, and as I said, tune in tomorrow for PGR Light Series Season number 2, Race number 1. Thank you again, and we hope you have a very good night.